we have Iris joining us today. Iris, good morning.
Morning.
How's it going today?
Doing well, thank you.
All right, so we are going to hear from Iris. And Iris, before we start, where are you joining us from?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, so Atlanta, Georgia. We'll probably again have a chance to tour around the world. The way, Iris, this works is very simple. We're in an elevator, and you can notice my virtual background behind me. We'll pitch we have 1 minute, right? Christine is our trusty timekeeper. She will raise her hand when the 1 minute is up. Basically you have the opportunity to pitch your idea to me, and we'll give feedback, and we'll evolve your elevator pitch. Everyone that's joining us today in the crowd, what you can do is you can just feel free to in the chat give feedback, let's try to make this the most impactful elevator pitch training experience for Iris. All right, so Iris, are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's rock and roll. I'm hitting the top of the elevator. Okay. Let's get started. All right.
All right.
All right.
So my company is it's called Umba Daima, and we are an agency turned technology company. And we really began by helping companies create educational and social experiences that help them tap into new markets and diverse demographics. And what we learned in the process is that companies have a hard time figuring out how to do this on their own, right? Different people like different kinds of experiences, women versus Black people versus Latinos, et cetera. People of different cultures, they have different tastes. And so event design is really important when you're trying to expand your audience or your community. But what we also learned is that there's a lot of logistical challenges around coordinating the talent required to host these experiences. And so, the average event can require anywhere from 5 to 15 different contractors, including event planners, speakers, DJs, photographers, videographers, sometimes even performers, staging, lighting, etc. And so our app, Assemble Now, really helps to solve these problems by helping companies first design the experiences, and then second, find and hire the talent to execute in any region, in any language. They would be able to execute these experiences for any demographic. And then the app can also analyze the results so that it can make better design recommendations in the future. And our goal is ultimately to help companies be able to expand their community, their audience into different locations, regions, languages, et cetera, and save time and money in the process as they scale their communities globally.
Interesting. Excellent. Thank you for that, Iris. And tell me, what are you looking for, right? What do you need?
Yeah, I'm looking to raise 300,000 at a 4 million valuation in a pre-seed round.
Got it. $4 million. All right. Excellent. All right. So let's get some feedback for Iris. Let's get the chat moving on this. So Iris, the name of the product is what again? Just give me the name of the product.
Assemble Now.
Assemble Now. That's what I. It's kind of like it reminds me of like the Marvel movies when the Avengers assemble. So you're getting everyone together. What we're going to do is we're going to get the chat moving, and anyone that has feedback, and obviously later on this is going to be delivered on our podcast as well as live on some of our social media platforms. So I want to make sure that we cover the bases. But Iris, I want to talk a little bit about the platform itself, okay? Because it's very interesting to me now when I look at this. And again, part of this journey is how I was listening as an average investor. Okay. That's kind of the mindset that I'm putting myself in. And I'm going to do that on purpose in order for us to drive the best result for this session for you. Okay. So my question to you is that is your app focused primarily on live events? Is that kind of the secret sauce? Is that where you're focusing on?
Yeah, so we're focused on both live events, online events, and hybrid experiences, as well as extended experiences. So, incubators, for example, would be an extended experience.
So, but when you think about live events in person or online, they're still kind of live though, right? People kind of
Yeah.
tune in, and so it's kind of, because I'm trying to just gather kind of the overarching element around what you're doing. And so it's the idea that anyone that's putting together, I might have an existing brand, okay? And as a brand owner, I realize that events, whether it's online, offline, or in a hybrid form, is a good way to boost awareness and get access to a new clientele, right? And
Right.
what you're saying is that typically when we look at demographics and stuff like that, we'll throw on ads. But what you do is, instead of that, you have these live or hybrid or online events where you can get like thousands of people together, and through that event there's a higher level of engagement, brand loyalty, and you're able to tap on a new community, right? And that community will have their own set of ambassadors, and you can kind of grow your brand accordingly. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the reason I bring it up is because when I look at your product, just from an investment perspective and a value perspective, for me, it's this idea that instead of just going online, because online you cannot actually target demographics like that, correct? You can't go online and say, hey, I only want to target Indian people, right? You can't do
Not
that, right? Is it?
Not necessarily, but the way that you design the experience will attract a specific type of audience, right?
Sure,
So
exactly,
I
exactly. Like
yeah.
what I'm saying is that the reason why your event model works is that you can't it's difficult. You can target people that like a certain type of music, right? So I might
Mhm,
like, Bollywood movies, and that
mhm,
might indicate that I might be Indian, but you can't go and you can target people in the country of India, but you know what I
mhm,
mean? Like if you're trying to build a demographic of the Indian community, say in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
mhm.
It's very difficult to do. So I understand kind of where that problem point kind of comes in from. So tell me about, so you put these events together, and part of it is designing and finding who are the talent that would best attract the audience. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So your system allows you to understand that this is the best Chinese opera singer that's going to
Mhm.
attract this Chinese audience, right? Or you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. So you have a way of understanding, and I don't want to use the word influencer because that's not always the case, but who is the artist that's going to attract that demographic? You've thought about that, and that system is proprietary to you guys?
I'm sorry, it cut out for a second. I didn't hear the last few
No problem.
seconds.
Well, my question was, is you have the intelligence to be able to identify the talent that's going to draw the largest audience, right? In a specific demographic. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Identify and coordinate as well, and then um, handle hiring and payments as well,
Sure.
which is another logistical process.
Got it. And so when I think about this, and obviously that's a headache. It's a headache that needs to get done. When you do all this, what's the net result though? Iris, what I was thinking while you were pitching, I'm like, okay, I got all these components, and I am I'm an Instagram / TikTok brand, okay, that's driving all this stuff, and I'm having this live event on Instagram. Let's just pretend we're all Instagrammers right now, because some of us are older and have other things to do. So if we're all on Instagram, what is the net result though, right? Because for me, it comes back down to the value prop, and that is, I want to engage in this event because I need more, I want to drive more revenue. And so the idea is that I introduce a new community to my brand. That brand, that community will have a certain group of early adopters and people that will eventually, buy my, subscribe to my bank, or buy a cell phone plan from me, or buy my shoes, or whatever the case is. Tell me about the net result, Iris, because that's kind of where my mind was.
Yeah, absolutely. So people host events and companies host events for different reasons, right? Everyone has different goals. So in some cases, the goals might be to drive product adoption, revenue. In some cases, it might be to find talent, right? That's a big use case. And in some cases, it might be some sort of social impact mission, right? Like Google, for example, is currently looking for diverse developers, and they're investing capital in, recruiting Black and Brown talent. So it really depends on what the company's goals are. Our vision is to be broad
Sure.
and to be able to identify what the goals are of the company, design the experience accordingly, and then be able, through those through the results and analytics, we can make better recommendations moving forward the more data that we collect.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I agree with you that, and you're the expert in this, right? There's product adoption, recruiting, and then also social elements. But my assumption is that, and this is kind of where I usually like to play, Iris, from an investor standpoint. I want to come back to kind of the dollars and cents, right? You know what I mean? So of the three elements, it might be, unless you go to an impact investor, right? I think it's easier for us to focus on the first two, right? How do you leverage your platform to increase the velocity of product adoption within a certain community? Okay. Or find talent cheaper, faster, easier, right? From that community, right? And those are kind of the two elements that I think are going to be the most important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, Iris?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I'm again, and I apologize because I'm coming back to the dollars and cents, because an investor is always thinking about money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I use your platform, obviously there's the first element of getting access to a community that I might not have been able to get access to myself, right? I want to get access to the Latino community in Atlanta, right? And obviously I'm not Latino. So I want to use your platform to make it happen. Tell me about the cost elements, because you do all these components. How much does it typically cost to do this if I were to do it on my own, in terms of time and money? And how do you guys improve that on both those elements?
Yeah, so what we found is that companies either do one of two things. They hire internal team members who execute on these types of initiatives, but they're oftentimes limited,
Mhm.
right, in terms of what they can do because of their, personal cultural background.
Sure.
And so the cost, we can reduce that cost of hiring someone internally, having to pay for benefits and insurance, et cetera, and replace that labor with more project by project, contract based labor.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that we can help them avoid, is having to hire really expensive marketing and PR agencies that would do this work, but do it with a much higher cost.
Yeah.
Because this software and it's automated and it's smart, we can charge a relatively small monthly subscription fee that would be significantly lower than what they would be spending for internal hires or agencies.
Got it. How much cheaper? How much cheaper? Do you have like, I'm curious. Like, I want to, like, for me, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, but it seems to me that this is an area like you have, Iris, when I think about what you're doing, there is a blue ocean opportunity here, right? No one is going about this the way you're looking at this process. So if no one else is doing, my hope is that it's at least 50% cheaper, 60% cheaper, and it's 50% faster. If I need to have an event launched in a month, right? You're the fastest and cheapest, but I want to know how much, because if it's only 10% cheaper, Iris, that's not interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right, man? And do you get what I'm saying? Like, thinking about this, I think is really powerful, because when you look at different demographics, the intelligence needs to be there as well, right? The beauty of what you're building is you start to build intelligence and you start to get into the more deeper nuances of a community, right? Usually it takes a brand years to kind of get the intelligence required to be able to work with certain communities, right? There's so many sensitivities, which I think is great. But Iris, I want this to be like 50% faster and 50% cheaper, Iris, right? Is that possible with your platform?
Yes, it absolutely is possible. I mean, in fact, I think that it can actually be even
Okay.
cheaper than that.
Okay. But you were hesitant, Iris. Do you know what I mean? Like, tell me why. Tell me where's the hesitation here? Because
I
you
would,
know what I mean? This should be jumping off the page in your
yeah,
pitch, right? You
I was
know?
hesitant because I haven't calculated the exact numbers.
Okay, that's
So
fair. That's fair.
I was
I
hesitant, but
appreciate
I
it.
can say that as an agency,
Yes.
right? In order for it to be profitable for us to do events, not only do we have to pay all of these people,
Yeah.
right, we hire, but we also have to bake in a significant margin as
For
well.
yourself.
in order to be
Yes. To make it
profitable.
all work, right? And we'll definitely make sure we cover that as part of the Hyper Accelerator program. Your gross margin analysis obviously has to do it in your pricing model. But I always kind of look at it in terms of the value of what you're creating, and as we start to look at this, right? And for those people that don't know this, right? Because Iris, not everyone is in the event space with your level of exposure. Tell me about the dynamics, right? Like, if I wanted to increase my brand awareness to the Latino community in Atlanta, okay?
Mhm.
And I have no Latinos working for me, and I don't know anything about Latinos, and I start running events, okay,
Yeah.
catering to this community. How much better is this in terms of building brand awareness and product adoption versus the typical online stuff that people do, right? Like hiring, somebody that looks Latino to do a couple of video commercials or Instagram reel ads or something online. Tell me how much better this is. Like, what the other thing that was going through my mind, Iris, is like, why is this the best way to engage? Okay. Right.
Mhm.
And again, I'm an investor. I live on Wall Street. I don't, my bank pays for my events, and I have tickets to, the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco, but I don't know this. So Iris, it's important at times to build a little bit of that education layer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of data out there around experiential marketing and the impact that it has on people, right? 70% of people are a lot more likely to become loyal customers after an experiential marketing event. And so
Menchie, are you getting a bit of a sound error right now? You don't hear anything? You don't hear anything?
No, I can't hear her.
All right.
Iris?
Iris, we're going to ask you to repeat what you said, ma'am. Just repeat what you
okay.
said. Because I think
Can you
this
hear
is really powerful,
me
but I think your audio kind of conked out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
now? Okay. Yeah, 70% of of people become more consistent, loyal customers after an experiential marketing event. And so there's quite a bit of data around the power of building the ability to build brand loyalty through events and experiences.
Got it. Now, Iris, my last question. How does this connect to the metaverse?
That's
Yeah, I think we lost Iris again. Iris, one more time. We'll just grab your audio. We'll just double check your audio. Go ahead.
hello.
Hi, Iris. You're back. My question again. My question again is, how does this connect to the metaverse? Go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, so the metaverse really refers to the world of people online, and there's a lot of folks that are exploring experiences online because of the how much more open it is, and the fact that you can bring people together who are in multiple locations. It's a lot easier to bring them together through online events and give them immersive experiences as well through like 3D digital.
Got it. Understood. Understood. Okay. So what we're going to do, I know there's a little bit of a connection challenge. So Iris, we're getting a little bit of a connection problem on your side, but that's totally okay. I think I got enough on the question around the metaverse. What I wanted to propose, Iris, would you like me to pitch this idea back to you? Would you like me to pitch the Assemble Now platform back to you? Is that something you'd like to hear? I'm happy to pitch the idea back if you'd like.
Yes, I would like that.
Okay, all right. So you're gonna introduce yourself, Iris. You get to be an Atlanta-based investor, and once you introduce yourself, I will attempt to pitch this idea back to you. Is that okay? And I'll try to keep it within within a minute. And I'll try to pitch it a little bit differently, covering some of the elements that we just spoke about, right? You're looking for $300,000 at a $4 million valuation, okay? Right? And I think I'm ready. I can try to pitch all these elements, and let's see where it goes, okay? Are you ready, Iris?
Hang on, Ash. Wait.
No problem.
I'm gonna promote her before you pitch.
No problem. We're having today we're having a little bit of
Hey y'all. Sorry, I logged in from my phone.
Oh, no problem, Iris. So we're going to pitch, now you'll introduce yourself, and I will attempt to pitch Assemble Now as a hybrid experiential marketing platform. Okay. But you have to kick it off. So Iris, this is fun because you get to be anyone you want to be. You could be the you could be Serena Williams. You could be anyone you want to be, any rich person that you've ever aspired to be, and you could and I will attempt to pitch the idea back to you. All right. So I'll hand it over to you for your intro, and then I will go and pitch Assemble Now. All right, go ahead.
Well, I'm Oprah Winfrey.
I was thinking, I was like, there's been a lot of Oprah Winfreys over the years, but that's okay. I don't know why Oprah is still in vogue. I was trying to change it to Serena Williams, but I guess like Oprah is still so aspirational. Okay, let's start. Okay, you can go ahead. Let's introduce you. And we'll get started. Go ahead.
I'm really curious to learn more about your company. I don't invest often, but I do invest. So you tell me more.
All right. Well, Oprah, it's obviously a real honor to meet you in person. My name is Ash Singh, and I'm part of the Assemble Now team. As you know, marketing and marketing to diverse audiences is becoming more and more of a challenge on the internet. A lot of communities now recognize the value of reaching out to drive product adoption and finding rich talent in diverse communities, the Black community, the Latino community, the Indian community, the Asian community. And what we've discovered actually is that internet alone does not solve this problem. And having worked in the event organization space over the last 20 years, we have come and built a next generation hybrid event platform. And what it allows is for anyone, any brand that's looking to find and integrate and get involved, they can actually launch an event targeted at any one of these diverse communities. We help them design it, find the talent, manage and fund the whole execution. And it allows them to create live experiences, hybrid experiences, online, offline experiences to help drive true engagement, interest in their brand. But more importantly, Oprah, for somebody like you, it helps them reach out to these audiences. And it's not just about selling something to them. It's about finding talent. It's about inspiring people. We are able to do all of this 50% cheaper and 50% faster than any other traditional event management group. And what we're looking to now to do is raise our first $300,000 at a $4 million valuation to truly impact the way brands reach out, engage, and educate diverse communities all across the United States. I'd like to chat to you a little bit more about how we're building this next generation platform and how our AI works over a coffee, and see if there's a way for you to participate and be a brand ambassador for what we're trying to do. Thank you.
You did a great job.
Okay. So that was my Oprah pitch. I've pitched Oprah virtually like this in the past, by the way, right? It's never the real Oprah. It's always somebody else that wants to be Oprah. But I've had the opportunity to do it in the back. But Iris, coming back to your pitch, did you see what I did? Did you see how I kind of,
Yeah, you dug more into like what a company would actually get out of it.
Yeah.
And I think you dived into it sooner. And you also then added in that cost savings factor as well.
Cost savings. And who is Oprah? Why would Oprah's got tons of money, right? It's always about knowing who your audience is, right? And so Oprah wants access, right? She wants to improve. And so I didn't bring it up enough, but the idea of reaching out to communities and getting them engaged, do you know what I mean? Like, and representing communities, right? That's something that she's probably more interested in than just another marketing company. And so I feel like that's kind of what I wanted to push on. I didn't, because she probably doesn't care too much about your AI. If you had given me somebody else that was more of a technology person, I would have spun the pitch to go into how you match the algorithm to know that this artist is the most attractive draw and somebody that we have access to for the Latino community in Atlanta, right? That matching component, I think, is very critical to what you're doing. And I feel like the other component that I didn't bring out, which I could have, was the idea of how what you're building now is going to connect to the metaverse, right? Eventually, what you're going to do is going to start carrying on in this word hybrid, virtual, online, offline, right? Because you have to think about what your big picture is, right? More people are going to be spending time in these environments. And so I wanted to bring that in as well, right? But hopefully we've recorded it for you, Iris. You'll feel free to copy anything that you liked, anything that you found value in the pitch. And I want to thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you found value, Iris.